Hello everyone, my name is Madhura and welcome back to another video of German Varman. What you see here on this pot is not some random decoration. These are some of the words which I'll be talking about in this video. All these random German words all have a story for how I learned them or where I learned them, in which situation, in some conversation, in a place. And this is an interesting aspect of learning the language, as I have already talked in my previous videos about learning the language in many other scenarios other than your classrooms, which can be done your supermarkets, your public transport, conversations with your neighbors, to conversation with your colleagues, uh, and many other places. So I will be going through some of these words, and you never know, maybe they'll now hold a story for you, that you learned those words from this video, or this might just be something that you already know but may find it also interesting. So I'll start with some random words. I'll probably so this is paracetamol. Now, the story behind this is, we all know this as paracetamol. The spelling is the same, like how we spell it in English is the same in German. But I remember one time when my doctor, she told me that yeah, in that case you can take paracetamol. Sie können Paracetamol nehmen. So something in this line the conversation was, and I was thinking, what is this paracetamol? And then I realized, okay, this is some just another pronunciation for paracetamol. And that's how I still remember now. If I'm going even in apotheker and asking them, then I'll not say paracetamol. I think many of them will still understand that paracetamol is this, but the pronunciation I still remember, that I can always relate to that particular situation with my doctor, and this is the paracetamol. This is one word which I use a lot in my German videos, kurkuma. This word I first again learned in my doctor's office in the waiting room. At that time, I think when I went there, as usual, it was full, and I was sitting there and I just grabbed a magazine which was there on the table. That magazine had also some recipes, and from those pictures I tried to then get these words. This is not the latest one. Now you see that I'm using this word very much fluently in my videos, but this happened in probably 2017-18, somewhere during that time. I still remember that office where I was sitting and then checking out many of those zutaten, or the ingredients that were there. And I was like, curcuma is probably something like curcumin that we know from English, but I was not sure. And then when I came back, I searched this word and I was like, okay, this is haldi, what we know for. And this is the story behind curcuma. Now, at that time, I never knew that I'll be using this word so often in my recipe videos. It was not even at that time an idea. But here I am using this word now almost daily, but I still can't forget this first time how I learned this word. Then I think I'm randomly picking, but everything is related to somewhere with some doctor's office. This word is Röntgen. Now Röntgen is actually X-rays. This was again in 2018 or 19, when I had to first do some X-ray for my ligament damage, and they asked me that, okay, wir gehen jetzt für Röntgen, and I was like, what is this Röntgen? Then when I actually went there and I saw this nameplate on that room, or the label on that room as Röntgen, and I suddenly remembered that, okay, Röntgen is the person who actually invented X-rays, and in Germany it's then not called X-rays, it's the Röntgen. So it is also a verb, like geröntgen. So it's a known word. Unfortunately, I had to go through multiple Röntgen processes in the last 2 months. But yeah, this is the story. And this time when I went, I knew that what Röntgen is. Spende. This is actually something like donate or give away. The story behind how I remember this word is, we had in summer we got an email from our HR saying that on some particular day there will be some ice cream spender, so ice spender, and for all the employees. And then we checked what exactly spender is, and for some time we felt like we are, what is this, like spender is, if we just make it like, if we just understand this as donate, we were like, why are we getting some donation, why ice cream is the donation. Probably it was more in a way giveaway for all the employees. I don't now know exactly what they they meant at that time, but this spender started, like I could recollect this word always with the ice cream and that email. This is also some interesting thing, day. So this is a short form again, what we know as DVD. But how I remember this is, it was in just after I finished my B1 exam and I started the job, and there was a training for 4 days which was completely in German, and there was no other option of English training, so I had to go. Like at that B1 just finished level, I was not so happy with having the German training for the whole day, but yeah. And then during that training, sometime she said something like day, and I was like, okay, this is some new word. There were probably many new words, but sometimes I could relate or find some context to those words. And here, then after she said that 2 to 3 times, I remember that, oh, this DVD is like day. And so these are some of those short forms which are then actually simple if you now see it here and you read it. But yeah, at that time took some time for me to know what exactly it is. Then yeah, this particular Aufbewahrungsboxen, I was searching something else on Amazon, and in those related objects, something in the kitchen, and in those related objects I think came some of these Aufbewahrungsboxen. And so I can always have this story that the Amazon, from Amazon. And yes, also with Amazon, now I have not written this, but it was also, I remember this with some two other people talking about these online shopping in a tram, and they were talking something like Amazon. And I was like, okay, this is the correct pronunciation. So normally I was using Amazon, or probably this word never came in my conversation, in my German conversation. So at home it's always Amazon, but I got to know that, okay, this is Amazon is something very English pronunciation, and Amazon is the one how you pronounce it. Then let's take, this was also a similar one, IKEA. Now this is also like in many countries they call it IKEA. For us it was IKEA, but IKEA, and there is a difference between IKEA. In that bus which we used to take initially for going to IKEA, that electronic thing that says IKEA, and I was like, oh, we call this IKEA, and this is called IKEA. I think in between I also forgot this, but again sometime on YouTube advertise, I again heard this IKEA, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that this is IKEA and not IKEA, how we pronounce it. Again, Nebenwirkungen. Nebenwirkungen is a side effect. And this is the most probably, if you have seen YouTube, there are hundreds of those ads where you have to listen this word for the multiple medicines ads. And so Nebenwirkungen is the side effect. But the source for me to learn this word is the advertise. It's also very simple to understand if we read this somewhere, because this is similar to what we have in English. But yeah, for me it's always then this ad. I think this is again Euronics. This is again one electronic shop, and with this also, when someone said Euronics, I was like, oh, this is the pronunciation. I was pronouncing it wrong way, but now I know how the German pronunciation is. Are there any other here? Okay. Then again, Entlassen. Now, Entlassen has multiple meanings, but how I learned this recently about Entlassen is the discharge from the hospital. So during my recent hospital stay, on the last day, they were talking about Entlassen. What I asked is very basic, like Kanish am Montag dann nach Hause gehen, that kind of sentence. So can I go home again? And when they said these words, entlassen, and then there was this entlass brief, uh, so where they everything was written, what exactly happened and all those things. So I think entlassen is to discharge from the hospital is something that I learned recently, and I'll always then relate to that particular hospital. This is again probably the same, some hospital word. I'll take other one. Yeah. So corpus is something like just the basic cabinet of IKEA, and this is again the word that I learned during multiple IKEA visits, or more on their planning multiple things on their online website. What we have more? Yeah. So Stau is something that I heard first time on the radio while driving. Basically, at that time I was not driving, sitting beside my husband. But yes, this is the common word that you hear during all those radio and Verkehrsmeldungen, which is the traffic announcements. So then we have, yeah, gestolpert is like tripped off, gestolpert, and this is the word that I learned recently when I tripped off and had this unfortunate accident. So this was, and then what we have here, yeah, Lockerlassen. This is also one interesting conversation at the doctor's office when I was getting some vaccine, and it's like you keep relax, and unfortunately I didn't understand it twice or thrice unless, and then they told me that okay, relax, and although the other conversation was going on in German, but then I understood that okay, Lockerlassen is like relax, and this is the thing. Then we have yeah, I think most of these are done. Yeah, okay, this is again Gebärmutter. I learned this word first time during my pregnancy, that Gebärmutter is the uterus. So all those different scenarios or different phases of your life, I learned now multiple things from my son from his school, but I think I can make one more video about that because there will be many other words and many other situations that I can explain. But these are some of those words, and I find it always interesting that how these stories, not for every word you remember the stories, but many such random words will always have this story behind how I learned this word, or where I learned this word, or the correct pronunciation. And if I analyze many of these situations, I still feel what I already said in my previous videos is we have to always keep our eyes and ears open wherever we are going. We have to try to start the conversation in German. You might not know every single word, but you have to start in German, because that's how you get used to with having those smallest conversations, maybe just one or two sentences, and then it gets better. And then all these words build up at every different stage. Sometimes even if you don't understand, then it's okay, you can get it in other scenarios. But I think this, so even the radio, now this might be also one tip, that you can keep your radio open instead of playing other songs. Sometimes, although sometimes these radio songs are a bit boring, I agree with that. But I think for those other things, radio is a good source again. Listening to YouTube advertisements instead of muting at that time is also a good source to know some of these small things. Then also, as I said, some words I learned like from the Amazon website, which is also a place where you can even try sometimes to search directly in German and not always in English. This is also one way. Then there are then public transport is, I always say that if you, and we have to go with that mindset, so all those electronic announcements as well as then the real people conversations that are happening nearby, they all contribute towards the language and your pronunciations and multiple words. So I think these are multiple scenarios, from the car to the public transport, from sitting at your home and surfing something online to some rigorous trainings in your office. All these places can contribute to different things, and over the years then the language gets better and better. But the key is keeping everything open like eyes and ears, and then trying to converse from your side in German, so that even though it is initially basic, it should get better with practicing. So this was something, a fun way to share. I'll share one last word with some incident that is also funny incident to share, and then we can end this video. So this is the word which is reparieren. Now this word is like repair, and it was again very much of those initial 2 to 3 months in Germany, that unfortunately I think some jacket had a zip which got which was not functioning, and we went to this a place nearby where we got to know that okay, this is, which is like alteration shop, and we asked them. So again I searched the words, before going there I rehearsed them and I went there and I asked that, can you repair this? This lady, she said no, and I was like, why? But I just couldn't say why in that way. I was like, okay, yeah, aber warum nicht so something, some very politely I tried to ask this, and she was like, aber wechseln kann man. So she was saying that she can't repair this chain, but she can change it. And for me, changing was also a part of repair, but she had these two different words, and it was a straight away no initially. So if I had not stayed there for next 2 to 3 minutes, I would have thought that okay, this is not going to repair, I have to now wait for a long time until I go to India or whatever that case. And then just those 2 minutes of further conversation probably laid that it got repaired. In the like the cost was again not that less, but it was also not something that I could, because the jacket was new and I could then repair it. So this is a funny incident, and these are multiple stories behind some words. You may have now learned or at least got one or two of these words through this video, and it might help to remember these words. Or if you are learning German, you can anyway go to Gemüse, watch my videos, as you can also learn multiple new words there. So I'll come back again with a new video. Thank you for watching this. Bye.